Yashodanandana Vajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi. I also need a book, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Hare Krishna, so many guests are here. So nice. Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vinda. So, we're just waiting for Chaitanya. Okay, Caitanya-caritāmṛta to come. Thank you very much. Okay. So, I believe we're actually starting at 93 because there was a mistake in the schedule, because 92 was last time. So which verse we have here? Is it? Okay, so that should be 202. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read the translations up to text 202 and then we can chant together, okay? So I will even start a little earlier because of context. So I'll start at 91. From the original quadruple expansion, 24 forms are manifest. They differ according to the placement of weapons in their four hands. They are called Vaibhav Vilas. Text 192. Lord Krishna again expands, and within the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, he is situated in fullness as the four-handed Narayan, accompanied by expansions of the original quadruple form. Thus, the original quadruple forms again manifest themselves in the second quadruple expansion. The residents of these second quadruple expansions cover the four directions. Again, these quadruple forms expand 3 times, beginning with Keshava. That is the fulfillment of the pastime forms. Out of the Chaturvyuha, there are 3 expansions of each and every form, and they are named differently according to the position of the weapons. The Vasudev expansions are Keshava, Narayan, and Madhava. The expansions of Shankarshan are Govinda, Vishnu, and Madhusudan. This Govinda is different from the original Govinda, for he is not the son of Maharaj Nanda. The expansions of Pradyumna are Trivikrama, Vamana, and Shrida. The expansions of Aniruddha are Rishikesh, Padmanabha, and Damodar. These 12 are the predominating deities of the 12th month. Keshava is the predominating deity of Akrahayan, and Narayan is the predominating deity of Pausha. The predominating deity for the month of Magha is Madhava, and the predominating deity of the month of Phalguna is Govinda. Vishnu is the predominating deity for Chaitra, and Madhusudan is the predominating deity of Vaishakha. In the month of Jyeshta, the predominating deity is Trivikrama. In Ashada, the deity is Vamana. In Shravana, the deity is Shrida, and in Bhadra, the deity is Rishikesha. Text 201. In the month of Ashvina, the predominating deity is Padmanabha, and in Kartika, it is Damodar. This Damodar is different from Radha Damodar, the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. Although we're still celebrating Damodar, this very Leela during this month. So, we're coming to text 222. Tvadasha tilaka mantra e tvadashanam. Achmane e name spashi tatat stana. Tvadasha tilaka mantra e tvadashanam. Achmane e name spashi tatat stana. Tvadasha tilaka mantra etvadarsanama. Achamane ena mishbashita tatstana. Please repeat. Vadashala tilaka mantra etvadarsanam. Vaishnavis. Vadashala tilaka mantra etvadarsanam. Tilaka mantra etvadarsanam. Tvadasha tilak. For 12 marks of tilak. Mantra. The mantra. A. These. Tvadasha nama. 12 names. Achmani. In washing with water. Ainame. With these names. Spashi. We touch. Tat stana. The respective places. Translation. When putting the 12 tilak marks on the 12 places of the body, one has to chant the mantra consisting of these 12 Vishnu names. After daily worship, when one anoints the different parts of the body with water, these names should be chanted as one touches each part of the body. While marking the body with tilak, one should chant the following mantra, which consists of the 12 names of Lord Vishnu. Lalate Keshavam Tyayin Narayanam Atodare Vakshastale Madhavam Tu Govindam Kanta Kupake Vishnum Cha Dakshine Kuksho Baho Cha Madhusudanam Trivikramam Kandare Tu Vamanam Vama Pashvake Shridaram Vama Bahu Tu Rishikesham Tu Kandare Prishte Cha Padmanabam Cha Katyam Damodaram Nyaset. When one marks the forehead with tilak, he must remember Keshava. When one marks the lower abdomen, he must remember Narayan. For the chest, one should remember Madhava, and when marking the hollow of the neck, one should remember Govinda. Lord Vishnu should be remembered while marking the right side of the belly, and Madhusudan should be remembered when marking the right arm. Trivikrama should be remembered when marking the right shoulder, and Vamana should be remembered when making the left side of the belly. Sridhara should be remembered while marking the left arm, and Rishikesh should be remembered when marking the left shoulder. Padmanabha and Damoda should be remembered when marking the back. Omakyanti mirandasya kyananjana shalakaya shakshu unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Ukram Viram Mahavishnum Jalatam Savato Mukam Nisimham Vishanam Bhatram Mityum Namamyaham. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So in this description in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, we are at the part where it becomes very philosophical. So now the question might come up, why is there so much philosophy in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, or in general, even in Bhagavatam? Some parts are very technical and very philosophical. So why is it like that? Why don't we just have the pastimes of Lord Krishna, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hear about them, chant the holy name, take prasadam? Why is there a need for technical aspects of philosophy? Yeah?
Maybe to give us an understanding that the Lord is everything. So every manifestation that we see relates to the Lord. Otherwise, we may think this is independent of Lord.
Yes, this is very nice. So we can see Krishna in everything. And also to understand how great God is. Because if we just see, Krishna on the altar, or we see Krishna as a cowherd boy, yes, the residents in Vrindavan see Krishna just as a cowherd boy, just as a small boy. They don't see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when we jump this ladder, and if we don't first understand the greatness of God, then we don't develop genuine humility in our heart. So we can't just jump and pretend that we are a good friend of Krishna. Of course, Krishna is our best friend. That's a reality. But if we don't first understand the greatness of God, if we don't cultivate genuine inner humility, if we don't find great joy in being insignificant, then these pastimes of Vrindavan and even the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are way above our head. So, therefore, we find these descriptions that remind us of the greatness of God, that give us philosophy to nourish our intellect, to strengthen our faith, and to cultivate genuine humility. Because we can never understand Krishna. Even if this description is here and everything is explained, how from Krishna there are different expansions and different incarnations and avatars and functions of the universe are coming. But if we don't have that realization in our heart, if we don't read Shastra with humility, with realization, and with our heart, it will never really become a realization. It will just remain a mental exercise. It will come in and come out, just like morning class. It's like, I'm going to speak now, and you will sit at breakfast, and you will have forgotten most of it. Let's be honest. This is how it happens, So even if we take one point of the class, and we allow that point to touch our heart, to go deeper, and if we practice this every day, whenever we read, whenever we hear, we just take one point, and we allow that to go deeper, then we can make spiritual advancement. So, and this is something that we see in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. However, these pastimes, if the proper understanding is not there of who we are, of what reality really is, then we can't understand them. And I wanted to discuss a very special pastime with you today, a pastime that I think is often misunderstood. And that's the pastime of Chota Haridas Jr. Maybe you've heard about this pastime. And there are many, many, many beautiful lessons inside this pastime. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to have, they wanted to arrange a feast for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they sent Chota Haridas to collect some rice. Not just any rice, that was some very specific, special, white, long rice that was supposed to be collected. And Chota Haridas, he got the service of collecting this rice. So he went to a specific home, and this was not just any home. We actually never hear about this name. This was I think Siki or Shiki, Mahiti. Thank you. We heard our head pujari screaming it. Jai Nishingadev Bhagavan Ki. So in her sister, Madhava Devi, they were actually considered very close associates of Srimati Radharani. You know, and what that means is even way beyond our conception. But anyway, so he went to this home, and Madhava Devi, she was known to be very austere, very devotional. She was an old lady, you know, very, very spiritually advanced, self-realized. And Chota Haridas went there to collect some rice. And in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, we don't even read much about what happened there. We just read that he went there, he collected the rice, he came back. They were very happy with the rice, you know. Swarup Damodar, Govinda, they arranged for the feast to be arranged, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy with the rice. Very happy. So he eats the feast, everything seems to be fine. And then suddenly he says to Govinda, I don't want to see Chota Haridas ever again. Don't bring him any more close to me. Now we're sitting here, we're hearing this. So let's break this a little bit down. Let's say your spiritual master tells you this. Not even tells you, but tells your godbrother, I don't want to see him, I don't want to see her anymore. Never ever again. I don't want to see them anymore. Or your husband or your wife, if you don't have a spiritual master, says, I don't want to see them anymore. Don't want to see them ever again. How would that feel to you? It's quite painful, isn't it? Now, what would we do when this happens, when one of our devotee friends gets this to hear from Guru Maharaj? Yes, he doesn't want to see you anymore because there was some situation when you collected rice, because you're not supposed to go to a woman to collect rice. Will we say, yes, why did you even go there? Why did you even collect there? Guru Maharaj is so upset. You better get lost. You better pack your stuff and go. You know, like, why did you do that? Was that the reaction of the devotees? No, that was not their reaction. They were like very, very concerned. And why were they concerned? Were they concerned because Mahaprabhu was angry or upset? They were concerned because Chota Haridas was not anymore getting the association of Mahaprabhu. That was their concern. So they said, okay, look, for 3 days now, we're just gonna, you know, let Mahaprabhu's anger calm down. And after all, he's the most merciful incarnation. So, you know, just give it some time and everything will be fine. So 3 days passed, and then on the 4th day, they went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, look, you know, he's this young brahmachari, he's very advanced, he's very austere, was just collecting some rice, a small mistake after all, nothing has happened. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, if you speak about this one more time, I'm going to leave this place. I'm going to leave your association. And all the devotees were closing their eyes and were running away. And now you might think the associates of Mahaprabhu were like, okay, we got the lesson. Mahaprabhu doesn't want to see him. He must have made a big mistake, an offense, so we should go to him and let him know, you know what, you made this offense, just keep a distance, you know, don't disturb Mahaprabhu. At least when I observe sometimes devotee Sangha, I see this reaction more than the other one. But what did the devotees do after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them he would leave their association? Imagine, you have the association of God. And they were coming back again on the next day, risking to lose the association of Mahaprabhu, just to again make this plea, please Mahaprabhu, Chota Haridas, he's fasting, he's not eating, he's not drinking water, he's not taking any prasadam, he's so regretful, please allow him again to come close to you, please allow him again to have your association. Although Mahaprabhu had told them he would leave their association, think about what you're most attached to in this life. and to lose it. And still you go and make that plea. And what did Mahaprabhu say? Now I'm going to leave. You don't listen to me, now I'm going to leave. And he started to leave, and everybody said, no, okay. We're not going to talk about it anymore. And they left again. Second time. So now you think, okay, now the devotees got the message. Now, very clear, Mahaprabhu does not want to see Chaudhary. He made an offense. Let's just leave it alone. But no, because the heart of a devotee is such that he doesn't want to be close to Krishna, but he wants to bring others close to Krishna. That's the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the mood of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani wants to engage everyone in Krishna's service. In the material world, it's all about me. I want to be the best, the famous, the most wealthy, the strongest, the most intelligent. And in the spiritual world, it's all about putting others first, bringing others closer to Krishna. This is the principle of the spiritual world. And we might understand this in theory, but it's an experience of the heart. In reality, in the spiritual world, you feel closer to Krishna when you bring others closer to Krishna. It's not a matter of, you can be on the altar and massage Nishingadev's lotus feet, which is what we do in the evening when we put him to rest. I mean, we don't really put him to rest. He puts us to rest maybe. But still you can be very far away from the Lord. It's all a matter of consciousness. Chaudhary did his service perfectly. He got the right rice from the right person at the right time. Mahaprabhu had a wonderful feast, and Mahaprabhu was still not pleased. Why is that? Why was Mahaprabhu still not pleased? Because of the consciousness. Because he saw there was some small thing that was not appropriate in Chaudhary's consciousness. So this is the second lesson we can learn from this pastime. We can do our service externally perfect. We can do our activities perfectly. And the material world, if you have a career, if you have a job, and I know all of you have, one way or another, then your boss is going to be very pleased when you do everything nicely. Actually, not always, to be honest with you. You probably have experienced that. But, okay, you do things nicely, perfectly, well done, good job, maybe you will get a promotion. It doesn't work like that in bhakti. It doesn't work like that in devotional service. Chaudhary was banned from the association, of course, to teach us all a lesson. And of course, we will see later that was a great blessing. But because of the consciousness. So we can run around all day in the temple, Jai Haribol, Jai Prabhupada, and make a big thing in the temple room. And then when we leave the temple, we're again, in our material consciousness. It's a matter of our heart, not just in the temple, especially how we deal with the devotees. Caitanya-caritāmṛta is full of devotees dealing with each other. Their state of consciousness, their compassion. So coming back to the pastime, now you think, okay, the devotees stopped and gave up. Now they went to Paramananda Puri because he was like a senior devotee. So they asked him, now you go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and you talk to him, and then he will again allow Chaudhary to come. Remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling them that he would leave their association. For a devotee, there's nothing more painful than losing the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Paramananda Puri went there, and he was like sitting down, and he was saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaudhary and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I'm going to take my servant Govinda and I'm going to leave your association right now. And he started to walk away. And Paramananda Puri was running after him. No, don't worry, come to my home, sit down, we're going to talk about it, don't worry, we're never going to speak about it again. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, okay. And then after that, the devotees were too scared. They didn't want to come back because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu literally started to walk. He started making arrangements. So then they went to Chota Haridas and they said, we tried everything, but the Lord doesn't want to forgive you right now. But don't worry, He will forgive you in the end. After all, He is the most merciful incarnation. So just stay at some, distant place, perform your, start eating again. You don't have to fast, because Chota Haridas, he was fasting all the time. He was not eating, he was not drinking, he was just fasting. So they told him, please start to eat again. And why did Chota Haridas start eating again? Because the devotees were asking him. He didn't want to cause pain to the devotees. So he started taking prasadam again, but in his heart, of course, he was very disturbed that Mahaprabhu wouldn't see him. So then some time passed, and some more time passed. 1 year passed, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not accept Chota Haridas back in his association. And then Chota Haridas, he decided, this is too painful. I can't accept this. I can't keep living like this. I've committed such a great offense, so I have to give up my life. Now, very important to understand, very important, is that this is not an ordinary giving up of one's body. This is not depression in the mode of ignorance. Someone is so covered that they give up their body, because that is a great sin. But Chota Haridas was part of the pastime of Mahaprabhu, and because the pain of separation was so great, and in that pain of separation, of course, he experienced the Lord. But the pain of separation was so great that he went to the confluence of the river where I believe Mother Ganges and Yamuna meet. I believe that was the place. And he went deep inside the waters and gave up his body. And no one knew. No one knew that this happened. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was smiling. Now, how is that? When I was reading this pastime for the first time, I was thinking, oh my God, this is cruel. Why is he smiling? This is so sad. Why is he so happy with him? What does that mean about me? I'm a fallen. I think about sense gratification regularly. Chota Haridas didn't even really think about sense gratification. He just went to beg for some rice from a woman, and he gets such a punishment. But Chota Haridas, he received, I'm not sure if it was a spiritual form, I believe it was the form of a Gandharva. And he came every night and he was singing for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every night he came and he would sing in the spiritual form for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew about this. So every night Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would enjoy the beautiful singing of Chota Haridas. Now, the devotees went to the same place where Chota Haridas had given up his body, and they were taking a bath, and then they suddenly heard the singing of Chota Haridas. And then they thought, oh, he probably gave up his body, and because he gave up his body, he's now become a ghost, and he's singing the holy name. He's singing these bhajans because he has become a ghost. But then Swarup Damodar was saying, no. You will understand the pastime. You will understand later what is really going on. And later on, this was revealed to the devotees that Chota Haridas was actually singing for Mahaprabhu. That means anything the Lord does is a blessing. That means anything in our life that happens to us is a blessing. Even that person that was insulting us, even the job that we are losing, or even that person that wants to leave us, even our child when it becomes sick, everything is a blessing of the Lord. However, it only becomes a blessing if we have that consciousness, if we have that genuine connection to the Lord. If we don't have a connection to God, then nothing will be a blessing, then everything will be a curse. Then anything that happens in life is, why is this happening to me? Then we will be in the mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance means what? Victim mentality. Everyone is having such a good life, everyone is having such nice service, everyone can chant so nicely, and I am struggling. I'm not feeling good. The Lord has forgotten me. The Lord has not shown me mercy. Victim mentality. Or we will be in the mode of passion, and we will constantly try to control our life, every situation. Because everything depends on me. I need to make the arrangements. I need to control everything in my life. I need to understand everything. I need to plan everything. I need to know exactly what happens at what time. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to get angry. Anxiety. Mode of passion is constant anxiety and worry. Will I keep my job? Will I get this promotion? Will I be able to pay for my mortgage? I need this new car. Will I be able to pay for it? Will my children become doctor or lawyer or engineer? Or will they become failures? Well, that's just in India. Just joking, I'm just joking with you. Will my husband stay with me? Will my wife stay with me? Will I get another child? Anxiety. Constant anxiety. The mode of goodness, when it's predominant, they are always mixed. But when the mode of goodness is very strong, we have a natural faith and trust inside our heart. We trust the Lord. So then when things happen in our life, when things become shaky, when we don't understand what's going to happen next, we have faith that the Lord is present. We actually will experience the Lord in our own heart. You know, it's not a matter of philosophical understanding and making up our mind. It's an experience in the heart. Why could Haridas Thakur, not Chauta Haridas, Haridas Thakur, our Namacharya, why could he be beaten at 22 marketplaces and not be heard? How could he pray for others when he was beaten? We get disturbed, let's be honest, we get disturbed when someone does something that is not in our way. You know, when we do some service and someone comes and messes everything up, like we're in the kitchen cutting vegetables and someone comes and he just makes a big mess or doesn't follow something properly or insults us or criticizes us, we get so disturbed. And why do we get disturbed? Because we don't experience Krishna in our heart. That's the mode of passion. Mode of passion is, you know, when you see sometimes on social media, smiling, thumbs up, you know, people posting pictures of how amazing their life is, but then one thing goes wrong and you lose your mind. I noticed this in my own life. You know, when I'm in the mode of passion, okay, externally I might seem okay, but then one thing goes wrong and I lose my mind. Okay, mode of passion. But mode of goodness means that we also try to see the soul in someone. We try to see God in someone. A devotee doesn't have friends and enemies in that sense. Of course he has friends, he has like-minded people he associates with, but he sees God inside of everyone. Even when our husband comes or our wife comes and gives us a big headache, oh my God, what does he want now again? What does she want now? Oh my God. If we see God in that, in these ordinary things, if we see God in these ordinary things, then we will see God when the big tests come. So that is one of the other lessons in this pastime. And the other lesson is we can never understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can see like this mortal life is insignificant. It is absolutely insignificant. All the people we are with, all our family members, so many lifetimes we've been with them. Sometimes your wife, sometimes your husband, keeps changing lifetime after lifetime. Sometimes you are the father, sometimes you are the child. It keeps changing. And we incarnate again and again with the same enemies, friends, and family members. Cultivate attachment and aversion. Have you ever noticed that you meet someone and you just don't like them? You don't even know what it is, but it's just like, you just see them and you're like disturbed, and then, like you don't really like each other and there's some situation that is going on. Why? Because that's not the first time. Or sometimes you just, people fall in love with each other. Inconceivable ways sometimes. Because there is attachment. Attachment and love are very, very different things. Attachment means it's all about me. It's all about me. As long as I get what I want, I like this person. As long as they do what I want, I love this person. As long as my wife is peaceful, she is cooking nicely and doing the things I want, I love my wife very much. As long as my husband is earning nice Lakshmi, providing for a nice home, I love him very much. But what if our dear ones don't behave in the ways we want? What then? See, like material love is actually, we have our own concoction of what a husband should look like, Before marriage, we are in this illusion. My wife should be like this and these qualities. And then we find someone and we just project these qualities on them, and we are in a dreamland. Of course, one day we will wake up. This is the whole purpose of marriage. And we do that all the time to people. Or the guru. We project our sentiments on the spiritual master. And then we see the spiritual master touching his feet with his hand. Why is he doing that? That's not proper etiquette. So we get disturbed because we're putting the guru very, very high, but not because of realization, because of sentiment. Material sentiment and material attachment. But this is not love. Love is all about the other person. We want to see the other person happy, even if they leave us, even if they cause us some pain. We want to see them happy. And how are they going to be happy? When they are close to God. That is love. That is not a justification for abuse, of course. Just to clarify that, that doesn't mean we allow ourselves to be abused, to be harmed, and then just, because that can be ignorance too. But that is love. We want to see others closer to Krishna. We want to see others in the front light. This is love. And it's sometimes very far away from us. And we can see this in Caitanya-caritāmṛta all the time. Kala Krishna, that was Ramananda Kala Krishna, that was the name of the devotee that got distracted when he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the south, that went to these gypsy ladies. Was it Kala Krishna does? Kala, if it's not Kala Krishna, please forgive me. But Kala Krishna, as he went to the south with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was next to God. Still he got distracted. He went to these gypsy ladies. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to drag him back on, with his hairs, drag him back. And when he went back to Puri, what was the concern of the devotees? Did they tell him, Kala Krishna Das, you are such nonsense. You're with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you're getting distracted to some low-class ladies. You're nonsense. Is that what they were saying? Oh, Prabhu, actually the service, you're not doing it properly. Oh, Prabhu, actually, you're not chanting properly. Actually, Prabhu, your entire existence is disturbing my mind. Please go away. No, they were saying, making all kinds of arrangements for Kala Krishna Das so he could still be engaged in the service of Mahaprabhu. So he served later on, I believe, as a messenger, for Sachi Mata. He was serving in some environment there, in some capacity there. They arranged some very special service for him because they truly cared. And only when we create something like this amongst each other, in devotee communities, in community doesn't just mean here in the temple, in general, that we start to practice this with our husband, our wife, our family, our friends, our enemies. Advanced souls, they pray for their enemies. I've seen this personally. You know, Sachinanda Maharaj, he has one day a week where he offers special prayers, especially for those who criticize him online. Why does a pure devotee do something like that? Because this is the only way first of all, because, I don't, of course I don't know the heart of Sachinanda Maharaj. Why do devotees pray even for their enemies? Because they have so much compassion. Prahlad Maharaj, he was praying for Hiranyakashipu, for his father, although he was trying to kill him. He was not chanting loud japa next to him and disturbing him, or pushing him during kirtan, or criticizing him. He wanted to kill him, and he genuinely from his heart prayed for him. This is the consciousness of a devotee. So when we pray even for our enemies, we actually, on a material sense, we clear any karma that is between us and this person is completely cleared. But when we criticize this person, or when we try to attack back, we actually involve ourselves again and again and again in the same karmic complexities for lifetime after lifetime. We don't just forgive for the sake of others, we forgive for ourselves so we can let go of resentment and move forward on our journey. Because if we don't forgive, if we criticize, if we constantly talk bad about others, what does that mean? What does it mean? It means we have envy in our own heart. It's envy. A devotee is not critical in his mind of others, a pure devotee. He's just seeing the good in others. He sees, wow. And only when we when we have attachment, we can't really see the good in others. When we have enemies and friends, when we have likes and dislikes. Because then as soon as someone doesn't do what we want, we get disturbed and then we find faults. Ever experienced you finding faults with your husband or your wife? Ever experienced? Or with your son or daughter? Huh? Because attachment is there. But when there's no attachment, you can actually see the person for who they are. You can actually see the good qualities in someone. And that's the vision of a devotee. A devotee sees the good. A devotee brings the good out in others. A devotee empowers others. The mode of goodness means we understand how we can bring someone closer to Krishna. And that becomes our joy. Mode of passion and ignorance means we have insecurity in our heart. We're insecure. Therefore, it's all about us, because if it's not about me, I feel insecure. I'm nothing. In a material sense, it's painful to be insignificant. In material life, it's all about having some status, having a nice job, having a nice family, being someone. In spiritual life, it's about being no one, insignificant. And when we let go of all the different masks and identities that we have created, even in the temple, I'm a Sankirtan devotee, I'm a temple commander, I'm a head pujari, I'm the head cook. In the spiritual world, it's a little different. First of all, most of us don't really know, I certainly don't know who we are in the spiritual world. And second of all, there are different services. So we have to give up all of these different identities that are not that I'm the servant of Krishna. And when we let go of all these different identities, then we can start to experience the Lord. So intensity in our spiritual life and our sadhana means we do it with all of our heart. When we chant the holy name, we can chant it in a casual way. I'm sure you all know this. Chanting the holy name. Sometimes, I have to chant 16 rounds and then I have to go to work, or I have to do this and that. So we chant our rounds, we do our best. We chant them maybe in one go, and then maybe we feel even some relief when we chanted them. 16 rounds are done for today. This is one way of chanting. But what if we put our heart into our chanting? Then the holy name can become our best friend. Then we can start to experience Krishna and the Paramatma inside of our heart. Just one devotee made this beautiful statement. How do we know if it's the voice of the mind or the voice of the Paramatma? And he was saying that the voice of the Paramatma is very calm, very quiet, and it is not attached. So for example, when you come to me and tell me, oh, I want to marry this Bhaktin, this Mataji, Krishna told me. And I tell you, I don't think it's a good idea. And then the reaction is, oh, no, you must understand, it's Krishna's arrangement. When we're very, very attached to our idea, then it's not the voice of God in our heart. When we're very detached, when we feel we have an inspiration in our heart, but we go to our seniors, we go to our guru, and they point out that, nah, I don't think you should move or you should do this particular service, and we're detached, that means there was some deeper inspiration. But if we get very disturbed, no, it can't be the voice of Krishna inside of our heart. Impossible. So, I think we're going to end here and again summarize. So, from the pastime of Jotaharidas, we can learn that we can never understand the Lord, that the devotees don't want to be close to Krishna, but they want to bring others closer to Krishna. And actually, I had once, now I remember this, I had this experience once. I was meeting my spiritual master, or I was at a place where my spiritual master was. And no matter what I was trying to do, he wouldn't pay me any attention. He would even walk past me and not look at me, but look at my wife. Oh, Hare Krishna, Mataji. What about me? So I felt he was ignoring me the entire weekend. No attention, no glance, nothing. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is... But I thought, but I have a relationship with my spiritual master. I can experience it. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give up. But then I had one last attempt where we were trying to assist in arranging for a disciple meeting. So all the German disciples, Austrian, Switzerland disciples were there. And I thought I had arranged it. So we're standing at the door. So I knew if he would come and pass me, he had to see me, surely. I mean, I'm standing at the door. So he comes closer and closer and closer. Of course, not looking at me, walking just right past me up the stairs. And I was like, okay, Hare Krishna, I give up. But then I went upstairs and, all the devotees were there being arranged. And then suddenly, during the meeting, I got a lot of attention, I got a lot of association. And I realized one of the reasons is because, first of all, he wanted to teach me that it's not about you. He wanted to teach me that our relationship doesn't depend on the physical sense. The relationship with the Guru is not just a matter of the physical body. It is much, much deeper. The Guru represents the super soul. He wanted to teach me humility. He wanted to teach me so many things, but he also wanted to teach me that he's very happy when I help arrange for other devotees to receive some mercy, when I help for other devotees to come closer to the Guru. So we can ask ourselves what our intention is. It's not easy, of course, but we can try our best. And the other lesson, of course, was anything that happens in our life, if we just have this realization in our heart that everything that happens in our life is the arrangement of Krishna, if this is our meditation every day, we'll be pure devotees very soon. We'll make progress extremely fast. So, yeah. Okay. Jai Nishingadev Bhagavan Ki. Are there any questions, comments, reflections? Yes, please. The mic is coming.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for the very nice class. So my question here is, like, when I was hearing to this pastime, is it something like God, I mean, of course we cannot, we are nobody to predict his plans. So when Haridas left his body, is it something like God wants to have his association in virtually or in the spiritual world? rather than in the material world? I mean, this was a thought that just came to me, like, because he did not commit any offense as such, but he gave up the body, and still it's a plan of Mahaprabhu. Uh,
So,
how did he-
first of all, technically, you could say that from a very high standard, he did commit an offense. Because as a brahmachari, you shouldn't go to a lady to collect alms. Even though in our movement, of course, we have different standards, but he wanted to set the highest standard. So, but ultimately, of course, an advanced devotee, why did Krishna allow this to happen? You know, Krishna is inside the heart. But this was the spirit. At this time, the spiritual world was manifested on this planet. So it's not a matter of geographical place where the spiritual world is or not. Surely we have Goloka Vrindavan in this transcendental dimension, but ultimately the kingdom of God is in our heart. I don't mean this in a sentimental way, it's a matter of consciousness. So Chota Haridas was basically in the spiritual world at that time, and he was banned from it, you could say. But yes, definitely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by teaching a lesson and giving some punishment, he shows us that is mercy by giving him this confidential service. I believe he was in the body of a Gandharva, so just in a more subtle sense. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's not that he was receiving his spiritual body in the spiritual world in his original form, but he was receiving this body of a Gandharva that was singing to him. I think that, not in this book, but one of the Caitanya-caritāmṛtas has it even on the cover where you can see this. So, but there will be so many other purposes in this pastime that we will never be able to understand. You know, Krishna Das Kaviraj, he has been blessed with some understandings by the Lord that he shares with us, but there will be so many other purposes that we will never understand. But what we for surely know is, if we read this from a material perspective, it becomes very disturbing and painful. But if we read this with a heart of bhakti and with the understanding that whatever God does is for our own good, then it becomes very spiritually enlivening and inspiring. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is there any other question? Yes, please. Or comment.
Thank you. Two comments. First of all, I think Chota Haridas was sannyasi.
Sannyasi?
Yeah, because Mahaprabhu said, I don't want that my sannyasi associates cleanse at women, and therefore they all stopped even thinking in dreams of women.
Yes, this is mentioned. I remember reading this. Yeah.
And the other, just one more. You said we should understand that we are nothing, but I think that we should understand that we are servants. Because this brings a very useful upati in our spiritual life.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my question, actually now, first I had one question. Okay, I say this question because this is such an interesting pastime, because Mahaprabhu kept on being hard. We knowing this example when this brahmachari was hiding in Shiva Sangam.
Yes.
And because he was only drinking milks, he was so austere, and then he was kicked out, and then he realized, but I got a mercy, and then Mahaprabhu said, bring him back.
Yes.
And also Mukunda,
yes.
who was walking around, and Mahaprabhu was saying, you go to different people, different sects,
yes,
and you speak all according to their whatever,
Yes.
So you will be not allowed for 10 million years or something like that.
Yeah, millions of lifetimes.
Yeah, and then he was like, Jai, then I will come back, and then they bring him back. So this all had a happy ending.
Yeah.
But this pastime, it's really, really tough. It's really, really hard. And you can really see it's different. Mahaprabhu make this point, sanya, one has to be very, very special if one takes this path of sannyas. There was just.
Mm.
I mean, we can speak about this, more. But my question actually was, because you said in the beginning also, it's about blessings, and we see the blessings of the devotees as an arrangement of Krishna, and now in the Bhagavatam classes, we speaking also about this pastime Daksha and Shiva, and now in the moment they cursing each other back and forth, and of course as devotees we should not, and we also very afraid of curses, and we seeking for the blessings. But actually sometimes a curse is a blessing in disguise, as we maybe can even extract here on this. And a blessing, it's sometimes a curse. You know what? Can you elaborate on? You know what I mean?
I believe I might know what you're saying. Like I remember this pastime of this Indian devotee coming to a train to Srila Prabhupada, and he was, please give me blessings, please give me blessings. He wouldn't stop, and then Prabhupada said at one point, okay, I bless you that your material life is finished. Oh no, not this kind of blessing. He was very disturbed. But actually, like, I truly believe, not that I have realized it, but for devotee, like even a curse is a blessing, and a blessing that might appear in the beginning as painful, because our spiritual master gives us an instruction, a blessing that is inconceivable to us. It is a blessing. Like it's a matter of perspective. Like it's like if you see it as the arrangement of Krishna, Krishna is present. If you see it just as a curse, the curse is present, and the curse manifests. So I truly believe that this is the vision of a pure devotee. He sees everything as the arrangement of Krishna, but he also acts in different ways. Like let's say you're the hair pujari, and you see that people just start to jump on the altar. You won't just say, oh, it's Krishna's blessing, and then you go and say, Hari Bol. You have to act because that's your service. But still, you would see Krishna in this, right? Because he would say, Krishna wants me to understand that humility doesn't just mean to, this is another thing. Humility doesn't mean to be like, oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please forgive me for my offenses, Hare Krishna, oh, Hare. Humility means that every action, every thought, and every word is meant to please the Lord. And that might sometimes mean that we have to speak up and even correct others, although I don't suggest correcting others unless you're really in that position. But I think everything, this is my realization. I'm sure you have also your realizations on this. But in my life, if I see anything not as the arrangement of the Lord, I'll suffer.
Yeah, and just what he said about humility. Once Bhakti Dhira Damodar Swami from Africa, he once said something in a class what really stuck with me. He said, humility means always speaking the truth. And I really had to think about it, no, but it really makes sense after a while. Anyway, but with of the blessings and the curses. For example, the curse what Narada Muni gave to Manikriva and Nalakuvera was a curse, but it turned out as a huge blessing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and sometimes, devotees come and please give me blessings that I distribute many books. So maybe we give these blessings, although it's not, I think a blessing is something what comes automatically from something and not what I extract from something.
That's also what my Guru Maharaj says, comes automatically from the heart of the Vaishnava.
Because when somebody comes and please bless me that I distribute many books, I think, but what if Krishna don't, what if Krishna wanna how to say, clean you, how do you say? Purify you. So, but if I give the blessing or whatever we give, very successful in this and that, then maybe it's a curse.
And the question is it even a blessing? Because I think, when someone is advanced, when they give a blessing, they will check and they will understand the intention of the person. So when this Indian person came and forced the blessings, Prabhupada saw exactly what he needed at the time. So also you know, as a head priest here, when someone comes to you, you're probably able to say, is he coming because I want to distribute many books because Sankirtan is the best and only service and I'm the best because I'm doing the best service, you know. So then maybe the blessing is, I bless you that, you know, like you can please Krishna. I once asked my spirit to, anyway, it's another story. But ultimately we want to bless, if we, like, blessings, I mean, I don't consider myself I can bless someone, but if I pray to someone, when someone comes to me, please pray for me that I have good health. I always try to pray. I pray that if Krishna so desires, you will be in good health. Because maybe Krishna doesn't want you to be in good health, because there's a lesson to be learned. So I always try when someone asks for prayers to include, you know, if Krishna desires. That is kind of, right? Because otherwise, isn't there also like material blessing? Like as a brahmana, you can give like a blessing, you know, because as a brahmana, you have a certain shakti. So if you bless someone, you give some of, as a brahmana, you're supposed to be in a high state of goodness. You're giving that piety to someone. So that's, I mean, now we're getting really into another topic, but...
Yeah, because then it comes also some kind of karma with it.
Exactly.
Because you give somebody
Yes.
winning in the lottery.
Yeah.
Before he was a very nice person, then he gets lots of money and becomes like a
Exactly.
a-hole.
Therefore, yeah.
But just because of this, back to this topic of blessings. For example, we see also that Yudhishthira, before the battle of Kurukshetra, he went to all his elders and asked them for the blessings that he can defeat them.
But didn't he know that it was Krishna's desire to defeat them?
Probably, yeah. I mean, and he spoke I mean, he went out of humility.
Yes. I mean, it's etiquette. I mean, in a Vedic society, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they go to the Brahmanas. But we are, I mean, like... Yes, and you go to your elders and seniors, right? That's also the point. Are you asking for blessings? Because, you know, this is the Vedic culture and etiquette. You know, and in humility you do that. I mean, there can be so many intentions to ask for blessings, I think. So, you know, are you doing that just because you want to please the elders, or are you doing it because, you know, Krishna is pleased when you follow a certain culture? So, very difficult actually to understand. But I think devotees can feel, like pure devotees, I feel they know your intention. I mean, my spiritual master, when I come to him, I feel he knows what's in my heart, and he ignores me or is not very interested when I don't come with a sincere heart to him. So anyway, I don't want to hold devotees back from breakfast. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki.
So you give blessings for breakfast?
If Krishna so desires.